And if I could get your sheet, Patty, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have like 2 hours, right?
Yeah, I should be good for
All right.
two.
Are you prepared for this, Banjo?
I think you mean Virgil, but yes.
Nope. You are Banjo.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I need to update his age. Banjo turned 17.
Oh shit, he had a birthday party and didn't make a.
He did actually. He made a jack point of it.
Uh,
Lots of people gave him random gifts, like Ryo gave him a bird bath.
man, I'm sad that I missed that. All right, we got a couple of people here now. So, um, do you want to explain to people what brought you to this low and wretched place?
Not really. No, I
No,
think the person who put me there should describe it best.
no, no. See, because I can't give your in-character feelings on the situations that Banjo finds himself in when he wakes up for his day this morning.
Well, you can lead up until why he's doing this.
Oh, well, fine. So, as those of you from the hub may have noticed, or at least the ones that follow the Jackpoint threads, um, Banjo got in a little conversation with Omni and Creed. And at one point in the conversation, somebody else mentioned the the thrill of the hunt. Banjo was like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally love the thrill of the fight." And Omni and Creed were like, "No, typically in a hunting situation, there isn't a fight." And then Banjo proceeded to not fully understand the difference and, well, kind of got cocky with Omni and Creed, and that required a lesson being taught. So Omni and Creed went through shadow connections to contact a Decker by the name of Kazooie, which happens to be Banjo's good friend and roommate. They offered him a job. They explained the situation to Kazooie that, well, your friend doesn't quite understand how dangerous the shadows can actually be, and we would like to demonstrate that to him so that he may better protect himself in the future. Um, Kazooie, being the bastard that he is, eagerly accepted Omni and Creed's money so that, well, Omni was going to be allowed to sneak into Banjo's room while he was sleeping and tie a cowbell upon his horns. Awakening that morning, Banjo stumbles downstairs in a midst of confusion and sees Omni sitting on his couch, probably having some kind of breakfast or at least like a soy calf with Kazooie. Omni rises from the chair, says, "I hope you understand the difference between a hunt and a fight now," and walks out. How did the rest of that day for Banjo go?
Banjo went and locked himself in the room and did not want to talk to Kazooie. So Banjo is upset with Kazooie, so Banjo is going to be moving, at least for a while, so that they can clear the air between themselves and hopefully come to some form of an agreement later on. But right now, Banjo does not want to see Kazooie. So he's going to be moving, and he actually put one out in the Jack Point because I thought it was amusing for a room for rent, and a bunch of people just assumed it was Banjo.
Yeah.
So
I will also note that there was steps taken by Omni and Creed to preserve the fact that they would not know where Banjo lived after the fact because they are apparently terrifying, professional, creepy people.
yeah. Also, Banjo went ahead and learned a little bit more about PR and disguise. So he's now adopting a new name, which may or may not come up. We'll see.
We'll see how that goes. So if you want to just give us a quick walkthrough on, this is probably a couple of days later, on what Banjo's day is like and where he lives and that kind of stuff.
So Banjo currently lives, he actually just moved before this time, near the docks of Tacoma. Today is Tuesday, so it is leg day with Stevie. So he actually does a little bit of studying in the morning for class, goes and works out with Stevie for most of the day, and then takes night classes at Seattle U.
Whereabouts do you go training with Stevie?
I'll leave that up to you. Usually probably Stevie's place, I'm assuming.
Okay. Not 100% sure where he actually operates at because,
the two games that I've done with Stevie, so sort of like Marty did one and I did one, he lives like on the very outskirts of Seattle, basically. So far, he actually doesn't get good Matrix.
That would kind of make sense for a man who enjoys wrestling all manners of wildlife. So as you go about your day, if you want to give me just like 2 quick perception checks to see how well you're taking in the day, and I will do a quick Google search to see what the weather is like.
Can I do smell with that or no?
Oh, well, let's just do visual for now. It's a balmy 75 degrees in Freedom Units outside, maybe a little cloudy.
Wow, Banjo sees nothing.
No. How does the city? Let's see how the city smells.
Banjo has all the dice for smelling.
Yeah. So the city smells more or less the same as, usual. The overall visualness of the world is the same, not nearly as exciting as the odors of the world that you are used to. There are children not necessarily at play, but there is, a couple of children hanging around. Younger ones carrying various dolls and that kind of stuff, or some other toy that they, small children toys, can't separate them. Parents give up, just bring them with and kind of deal with it. Hope they don't lose it and leave it somewhere and that kind of stuff. I forget the rating on the Tacoma area.
I live in a medium area, so I live in a decent.
Gotcha.
And I do have, some friendliness with some of the local gangs and things like that. Especially if I live near a bridge.
Man, is it a bunch of Bridgers or the
No, the Billy Goat
Billy.
Gruff Gang. I'm the only character in the hub with Riddle's knowledge, which gives me a bonus to dealing with them.
Oh man, Shadowrun Tabletop. My cat's being very annoying right now.
It's okay. I currently have a storm going on outside, so
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah.
Um, so as the day sets on your first day and your leg day with Stevie, how is Banjo doing at nighttime?
Well, I'm assuming this is after class.
Yeah, this is back at home, that kind of thing.
He's probably exhausted. He runs his days pretty long, so he does not do a lot. He will turn on, and this is something that hopefully will be coming out in a news article, the newest Horizon TV show, Archaeologies and Activities, with the first Minotaur TV star.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. He actually just took a knowledge skill, famous Minotaurs, so he likes seeing his own kind on TV.
And he's also probably the only other pseudo-famous Minotaur. Give it as,
Probably that is not a criminal of some kind, probably.
Yeah. Well, I meant you with your for public awareness, but that's,
Yeah. This guy's hopefully more famous than I am.
maybe.
Hopefully.
Depends upon whether or not they turn him into a caricature of what a Minotaur is for the general public and all of them views.
Yep.
Let's hope they don't do that, though.
Hope not.
So the sun sets on another day for, the mightiest Minotaur in all of the shadows. And then he, is greeted the next morning by the rosy fingers of the day.
Okay.
Is that how early he usually gets up, or is he
usually gets up pretty early? Tomorrow's Wednesday, so that is training with La Roca, so it is actually very early.
And that's going to take you probably out into the Barrens to one of the pit fight clubs.
I assume if that's where she trains, then yes.
That seems like the most lawless, but still somewhat civilized section of town that you could get a proper pit fight going on without
Yep.
the people who don't like pit fighting interrupting you. So you go out there. If you want to give me another couple of perception checks to see what you can see and see what is interesting in the day.
Wow.
Wow. You're not so good at looking at things.
I'm not. Wow, that was really close.
Yeah, man, that's terrible. And then if you want to just give me a quick memory test.
Is that just logic plus intuition? I think. Yeah.
Your handy dandy hero lab sheet will actually tell you how many dice.
I always have to look for where it is.
6.
Hey, I remember stuff.
You don't think about it at the time, but you're in there at the gym kind of, not the gym really. It is a dirt pit that you beat other people up in. You get cracked by your opponent, like right in the head, and it must have like shaken something loose. But you're like, wait a minute, didn't I see one of those kids yesterday?
Oh no!
You're pretty sure that you did, but you're not like super sure. And you got other things to deal with right now. Like, first of all, that dude just punched you in the face. That's not cool. You got to put him in his place.
Yep.
Or else how can you impress the La Roca?
I think I gave up on that because I don't think it's age appropriate.
Just because she's like in her 30s, I believe.
Banjo is 17.
Well, she could be a cougar. She could be La Cougar. I don't know if that's even close to Spanish for.
Probably not. Do you want me to roll an unarmed combat or something?
No, I'm pretty sure that, once you get your head back in the game after your slight revelation that, you'll lay waste to this poor, unfortunate soul.
Yep.
So, day number 2 sets for... Actually, give me one more visual perception as you leave for the day.
Wow.
You are really bad at seeing things. Like, do you really not have, like, vision enhancement and stuff?
I have
like contacts and things.
I have cyberware, but that doesn't help you. That only gives you like bonuses to your
types of seeing. You need to get yourself some vision enhancing contacts or something.
It doesn't work. 'Cause other than literal increasing it, no cyberware works. It just gives you like higher accuracy limit.
No, visual enhancements, if running wireless, give you plus to your visual perception tests.
No, it just says positive modifier to your limit.
Look at the wireless bonus.
Oh, I need to go work on that.
So do you actually have them with,
No, I don't, because I haven't gotten around to
Gotcha.
affording Delta.
Give me a quick smell test then as you get outside to see if the faint breeze wafts something your way.
I can identify the children's scents.
You're smelling something that's slightly out of place here. It's, the smell of sweat and salty tears and perhaps even something deeper in the Barrens. This is a bit more civilized of an area than the normal sections of the Barrens.
Okay. Have I been before, I wonder?
But alas, you go home for another day, and then you relax in your big comfy couch to watch the reruns of your favorite TV Minotaur. Next morning, you wake up in the chair, apparently having fallen asleep at the Tridio set. May or may not be a usual thing, but the sound is probably comforting, given as, Kazooie isn't there to keep you up at night. So, what does your Thursday look like?
Thursday is arm day with Butch.
When you get there, you find out that Butch is canceled today. He apparently had a crazy party last night and is way too hungover for wrestling and working out. Okay, you know that is actually code for he is out with the ladies still.
Okay.
It's like, you go up to the gym and you find the tie hanging on the door.
Nice.
Not to mess with it.
So you actually probably call Bottles then to see if I can set up a training session for my fixer.
Where's Bottles operate out of?
Tacoma. He actually kind of took Banjo under his wing, and that's why Banjo's not in some gang.
Oh, well, that's good. It would suck to be in a gang.
It would.
Is Banjo's relationship with a Mr. Bottles fairly public knowledge, or is it someplace that he hangs out a lot?
No, but it is his fixer, so anyone who's run with him probably... He doesn't talk about him, but they may have overheard him talking to him or something.
Okay.
It's not really public knowledge. Kazooie probably knows.
Well, Mr. Bottles has not a whole lot to do. If you want to get a gym, he can get you into a place to just, so you can still get your lift on.
Oh, he's actually a fixer / trainer. Like the trainer part's mostly just fluff, but that's who Banjo used to work out with before he got all the other contacts.
Before he met all kinds of new and interesting people.
Yeah, he's like the Phil for Hercules.
Gotcha.
That was actually what this was going to be originally. Before I went with Banjo Kazooie, it was going to be Hercules and Phil.
So he can definitely get you in so that you can get your lift on and continue on with your routine. Because once you start skipping days, it's all downhill. You lose all your maintain,
muscle memory, all of it, man.
It's bad. So we'll skip ahead. Give me those perception tests again, just to see if anything interesting happens along your way. And you want to give me that smell one?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So it's more so along the lines that you get that small whiff of that, whatever that smell is again. And as you look up and look around, you see, there's a child that seems unattended, along with the normal people of the Tacoma area. And he seems to be staring directly at you. He's holding a small toy of some kind in his hands, and he is gazing upon you.
Can I see what kind of toy it is?
Roll me a observe in detail, which is perception +3.
Hooray! That's almost a glitch, but
That is
not.
almost a glitch. So he's covering it up pretty heavily, but it looks like a bust a move.
Oh no.
You can't exactly like narrow it down more than that, but it looks like a bust a move.
Banjo's gonna go talk to him.
As Banjo begins to approach, the child, you know, does that thing that children do where they panic and run off.
Banjo was gonna like go low to the ground and like, get on the child's level, but okay. I don't think that would
Uh,
have helped too much because that's still really tall.
yeah, that's still. I don't think Banjo can like if Banjo was laying flat on the ground, he might be on that child's level. He
Yeah.
looked probably, 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
He looked, dirty and disheveled. But do you follow after where he ran off to, or do you just allow him to flee?
How far does he run off, and how quickly?
He flees pretty quickly, but he has little legs. If you wanted to make like a running test to run after him, you could totally
Could
do
I
that.
roll judge intentions to see?
Yeah,
What?
you could totally roll whatever you like.
Wow, I actually rolled decent for that.
So he was definitely looking directly at you as if he knew you. But then when you made motion towards him, a look of almost fear kind of came up on him, and he took off down one of the side streets.
Well, then Banjo, is this in the Barrens?
I think this is more in Tacoma.
Well, Banjo will still go and see if he's okay.
Sure. Um, just give me a scent test to see, how well you can track this poor child down. So in your pursuit, you have come to realize that odd, very Barrensy smell that you had smelled was probably coming from this kid. He probably hasn't had a chance to wash properly. Um, maybe in a couple of days. Um, you can easily follow him into one of the side streets that's not very well traveled. Mostly is used for getting to the back, like parking lot areas. There's a couple of trash cans there. Um, if you want to give me a audio perception test,
Can I use my earbuds for that?
if they have audio enhancement and they are wireless, they will give you +1.
Why do I have headphones? That doesn't make sense.
Because they look cool.
I guess maybe it makes more sense because I'm a Minotaur and earbuds would look silly on me. Yeah, but
And to answer the question that you sent me via Skype PM, is Banjo going to adopt the child? I do not know because I am not Banjo.
so I roll 7d6 for this because I have one audio enhancement on.
So you can hear the sounds of labored breathing and a little sniffling. And as you kind of close in on the source, you see that it is the kid again. However, upon him seeing you, he seems to like you're a little bit away, and he goes to like duck into a small window of a building. Um, if you want to roll me edge real quick, just to see whether or not you are able to catch him or whether or not.
Nope.
Nope. So he skitters into this like one of those basement windows, and you do notice, however, that he leaves his bust a move on the ground.
Is it Banjo?
So as you pick it up and gaze upon it in what is probably confusion, it looks like an old bust a move. It looks kind of like, well, roll me a memory test real quick. So, given as this was a rather traumatic event for you, this looks vaguely like it was one of the ones that blew up in the mall, like the same make and model. Um, it has a few curiosities though. It has obviously been well loved and is, dirty. Um, on its head is a couple of pieces of trash that vaguely resembles your ballistic mask, at least in the colorations and stuff on it. And it's got like two metal sticks kind of jammed in its head that might be horns.
Oh my gosh, Rob, you're gonna make me cry.
We're not even there yet.
I know. I already know what Banjo's gonna do, and it's gonna be super sad and sweet. So I'm assuming there's no way I can find the kid in the building.
You could try and get into the building if you wanted. It seems to be we're in Tacoma, right?
Yeah.
And Tacoma is all sea level, or is it?
I'm assuming most of it's sea level or above sea level.
It seems like it may have been a warehouse, and that this is just kind of, or perhaps more of a workshop than a warehouse is actually a better description of it. And that this is mostly just for ventilation of fumes and things. But you could totally go up to the front door, as it were, and give it a knock.
I am not. I am actually going to go make some phone calls to see if I can get a Banjo bust a move and then find someone who can make a proper ballistic mask for it.
Ooh, who do you know?
I know a lot of people, actually.
Because the bust a move itself is very easy. That's, you go down to your local, not Stuffer Shack, but your like just any normal toy store could probably outfit you with a battling bovine bust a move. So who are you going to?
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
You're saying the bust move is what?
The bust move is easy to get. That's something you can get at a local toy store. The mask, though, that'll be a little bit harder.
Right. I was figuring either my fixture could put me in touch with someone, or I don't know, maybe Steel Waters would know somebody. That'd be kind of a push, but I'm assuming my fixer knows some tailor.
Probably easily get a hold of just not necessarily a shadow tailor, but a tailor or somebody that you can get this taken care of.
Yeah.
Be like, I want it to look like the guy that was on the
news.
The trids, yeah. Let me see how much a bust move actually costs.
It's decently expensive. It's like $700 for like lower end ones, and the Banjo ones are actually higher end because they had like olfactory boosters and stuff in them.
Man, those are apparently insane bust moves.
I'll find the news article for you.
Yeah. Well, I will trust you to purchase a bust move of sufficient price and quality, and will probably also, since it is an official Battle and Bovine bust move, it will probably come with the mask, and you won't have to get a tailor to make one.
Okay, so what do you think? 1,000?
Sure.
Okay.
But what is your plan of action as you stand here holding this thing in your giant cowman mitts?
That was my plan. I was actually going to go home and come back the next day with the new bust a move.
You come back to the same place?
Come back to the place where I saw the kid the first time.
The first time. So you want to roll memory real quick to see if you can figure out where that was? Oh, yeah. So thinking back on it, and, the sad eyes of the poor child from across the street burned into your memory. Now that you have the knowledge that the smell is associated with him, you can kind of pick out that I think I saw him like 2 days ago. I definitely saw him when I went to La Roca's, and he was around in Tacoma. These kids getting all over the place. I don't know how he's doing it.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Was he human?
He was a human child, yes.
Okay.
Um, so you seem to recall noticing him at places that you frequent.
hmm
Um, given how long have you been keeping this schedule of yours?
Probably for quite a while. Probably at least like 3 weeks or so.
Okay. So you know, are looking back and forth between the dirty fake Battling Bovine and the new one that you just got fresh in its package. And what are you gonna do in this situation?
I am going to I'm going to set a trap. So I'm going to like leave it somewhere that I know he would see it. I'm going to kind of loiter around the area and hide so he doesn't see me.
Okay, I love the box and stick trap. I love it.
Basically.
So the next morning you get up a little bit early. The weird feeling that this kid knows your schedule is permeating your brain, and you've hatched this master plan to trap him. Um, where do you go on Fridays?
Fridays is, I think, back to Stevie's.
Back to Stevie. But
Yeah.
are you still going to talk to Stevie, or do you tell him that you have a mystery you need to solve?
I'm going to tell him I have a mystery I need to solve, and I will not be making it in today. I'm
He
sure he's
gives
probably
you
also a little busy with dealing with the wrecked zoo, so I'm sure he's happy to take some time off.
yeah, if only somebody hadn't wrecked the zoo and killed their star attractions.
I'm glad I wasn't the one who killed the star attraction. I'm amazed Joss didn't take minus to loyalty for that.
So if you want to roll me, let me see what you have here. All right, you're gonna need me a sneaking test to find a hiding spot for you,
hmm
because that is not a small task. Okay. And if you want to roll, I guess like a palming, does that sound like okay to stash the bear or two bears?
I actually have,
Yeah, you do have 9 dice in palming.
yeah, I'm just doing all the good rolls for this.
Yeah. Were you gonna stash both bears or just the one bear?
I'm going to stash both bears. He should get his old bear back, too.
Okay. So you're sitting there for a little while. If you want to roll me a scent-based perception test. 2 hits. So you to answer the chat's question real quick, the stashing bears is Banjo was chased down this small child, and well, the kid dropped the bear, as in perfect movie trope fashion, and Banjo found it, and the bear itself looked similar to Banjo and his busted moves that Banjo has that are made of him after his wonderful mall saving escapades. And well, he did as you always do in the movies, and you go and you buy him a new one. He is now stashing the bears in a place that he is pretty sure this kid that seems to know his schedule will find it and is laying in wait. If only he owned a white, uh, nondescript moving van for him to be stalking in. As soon as my computer catches up with what it's doing. So as you're sitting there, it takes a little while, but you got up extra early today because you need to solve this mystery. And you're sitting there, and oops, I did not save my name on this. You get that a whiff of that smell that you've been smelling and you've associated with the kid, and you're
You made a silent child count.
yeah, I'm a bad person. I told you this was going to be a bad person. So as you're sitting there, you can see him kind of like come out in his dirty clothes, which now seems to be the same uh, the same outfit that he has been wearing for the past couple of days. Um, um, what do you want to do as you sit here and watch as he cautiously looks around and approaches?
Banjo's going to slowly approach the child.
And I feel like Banjo should be rolling a composure test too.
I will roll one. I will definitely roll one. I make Banjo compose all the time not to have emotional breakdowns.
You're pretty close, but you're like, I need to solve this picture. I need to figure this mystery out.
So he's gonna do the kind of like typical like arms outstretched like to show that it's all okay. He's gonna get kind of lower to the ground. He's gonna sneak up on the child a little bit, but not like sneak up on it like
a creeper.
yeah.
All right. So you're not really like trying to hide your presence.
I'm gonna hide it for a little bit till I get a little closer.
All right. If you want to roll a stealth check real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, it just turns out that his weaknesses are his oversized heart. Oh man, you are dedicated and focused.
Banjo gets serious when it's a child on the line.
Yeah. So you can see that the kid is looking back and forth. Like he's picked up his bear, but he's looking at the other one and back and forth between it kind of confusedly. As you get almost within arm's reach. So you can either, announce your presence or you can reach out and grab him.
I'm going to calmly and like not like grab him, but I'm gonna put like one hand on his shoulder like paternally and kind of grip a little bit to make sure if he does try to run, I can grab him easily. And the other hand, I'm gonna pick up the bust move and hand it to him.
So as you you do it, you feel him tense up and sort of begin to pull away as if to spin around or to run from you. Mm-hmm. But your hand is massive, easily encompasses his entire shoulder area on whichever side you placed it upon him on. He looks at you with wide eyes as you reach past him to pick up the other bust a move to hand it to him. He clutches his to his chest very tightly. And, well, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna ask him. I'm just gonna ask him if he has any family.
He says nothing. Like, it looks like he is going to,
cry.
Maybe to cry, maybe just to cry out, but, give me some kind of, I guess, just logic plus intuition. See what that turns out.
Rob, how much does Father Mercy cost? Because I think I'm going to have to go buy Father Mercy right now.
So, when he tensed up, you know that most people make like a sharp gasp or like an eep or something like that. He made no sound.
Oh no,
And now that
he's mute.
You want to roll me another memory test real quick?
No.
I really hope you get a lot of hits on this. Oh, man. So, staring into this child's silent, expressionless face. Not expressionless, I'm sorry. There's tons of expression, what with his wide eyes and, dirty demeanor and the trembling that you can feel him in your hands. Staring into those deep, soulful, innocent eyes, you can't help but think that if this child was cleaned up and in clean clothes, he looks just like one of the kids that was at the mall.
I have to go buy Father Mercy now, Rob. Give me a minute. I knew I was going to get Father Mercy eventually. I didn't think it was going to be for a solo run. Wait, he only cost 2,000?
He's super cheap.
Oh,
That being said, he probably destroyed more Nuyen than any other contact out of the hub for
oh yeah.
mechanical gain.
That kind of, yeah. So I'm going to go pick up Father Mercy.
Uh, don't worry about that yet. We'll wait until we're done.
Okay.
So this child is looking up at you, a slight amount of adoration in his eyes now that he has gotten over the fact that you know, stood there and held him for a second and didn't, you know, you did not crush him in your meaty uh, cowman mitts. You seem to be rather, I don't know, maybe,
Gentle.
yeah. He does not look immediately afeared that he is in deep trouble, and that look of fear is going more to a adoration rather than a um, anything else really right now. What is Banjo doing?
Banjo is going to call Johnny Cab. And the reason I was going to buy Father Mercy was because I was going to take this child to him.
Okay, well, you called up
Yeah.
a Johnny Cab to meet you nearby. They'll probably, if you want to roll me a Johnny Cab connection test to see how quick he can get there.
I have like the lowest Johnny Cab.
Whoops. So it'll be there pretty quick, about 10 minutes or so. What's your plan of action as your hand is still upon this boy's shoulder?
I'm just gonna, if he looks up at me, I'm gonna look down at him, just nod reassuringly. Is there like a hot dog, a soy dog cart or something nearby? Could I go buy him some food?
In the words of Impulse, there's always a noodle shop. So there is totally a corner noodle shop within, distance of wherever you told the Johnny Cab to pick you up.
I will take him there.
Okay. You're gonna, the child. Do you release him or do you up
No,
on the shoulder?
I'll definitely pick him up, put him on my shoulder if he lets me.
So he looks a little confused as you take your arm. Not a little confused. I'm sorry. He looks over to his shoulder where you take your hand off and is kind of like, okay, but again, doesn't say anything, makes no sounds. Um, then I imagine you pick him up straight around the middle of the torso and up onto your shoulder. You hear a sharp intake of breath, but again, no sounds. And place him upon your shoulder. He, after a moment, seems to settle. He grabs a small fistful of your head fur, um, and really makes no actual sign of discontent to this. So you have him upon your shoulder and you approach the noodle shop. There is, you know, more automated than personable. Um, you have this small child on your shoulder. You are in front of basically a dispenser.
I'm going to order the healthiest noodles I think I can get.
So you just order up a bowl of noodles, and
I want all the vitamins I can get, all the vegetables.
you can have flavored soy, krill. Um, yeah, that's basically. It's not like a super. It is kind of like the hot dog stand you would think of today, but
Okay.
in a noodle form and out
Would
of like
krill be the healthiest?
it's seafood. He might have a seafood allergy. You
Oh
don't know.
no. No. I'm gonna look up at him and see if he like points at any of the flavors. I'm hoping he can read.
He's looking around. This is a very new vantage point for the world for him, given that he's now 9 foot in the air.
Yeah, probably Banjo's somewhere around lower end of 8 feet. So with him on the shoulder, he's probably closer to 9.
Yeah. So he's kind of looking around, a slight look of wonder in his eyes.
Rob, I might cry. This is so sad.
If I can reduce you to tears, I will count that as a win. All right.
You
I'm not
already
going to
made
win.
me tear up a little bit.
I'm not even going off of what I had in mind all that much.
Okay. I'm gonna look up at the child and see if he like points to anything like a
So just
flavor.
kind of like gaining his attention, and he,
Yeah.
uh, he follows your big meaty fingers, and um, he looks at that a second, and then does that very energetic nods that children do.
hmm
Um, at whichever one you were pointing at, it was probably just noodles.
Okay. So I will do the krill noodles then.
Okay, so you get your little bowl of noodles and go off to the side. Um, no, it makes you a stranger that doesn't know Banjo and how he feels, Mr. Chat. Um, I imagine you sit him down, like you crouch down, put him on your knee, and hand him the bowl, and he will very eagerly, just not even using any utensils they would have supplied, but just like left hand right in the bowl, right into his gob, and holding his bear in his right hand. Did you pick up the new bear and bring it with you, or did you?
Oh yeah, I picked up both.
Oh, he was carrying his bear. Um, and then 10 minutes goes by. You feel like you've done a good thing so far, and thus the cab is there. You getting in, and what's your next plan of action?
Well, that's what I wanted to buy. Johnny Cat. I mean,
Father
Father
Mercy.
Mercy. I'm gonna take him there.
So we'll worry about that afterwards, because that's where I was working on bringing you, because I am a bastard. Um, so you get into the car, and it begins to drive off to Father Mercy's out in the Barrens. Oh my God, cat, go away. You can see he's looking out the window and just kind of doing the thing. And then as you get closer to the place, you notice that he's beginning to get more excited, more, and like as though he recognizes the place or the area at the very least. And as you pull up and are dropped off, there's a couple of children playing in the like courtyardish area. Among them, a couple of kids that look his age. There's a girl out there, about 7 years old. Looks like an elf from this distance. She has a pink, like, store-bought Bust-A-Move bear and is playing with that.
Oh,
What?
I just realized who that child is.
Oh, good. Nearby, though, it looks like there is another Bust-A-Move that she is also playing with. This one is very curious. It is dressed like a Shadowrunner.
Oh God, no, Rob, no.
There's a couple of other kids running around that don't seem to be paying her any mind. A couple of older people too that just kind of seem to mill about. Of Father Mercy's. That this is kind of a place where those people that are down on their luck can go to rehabilitate a little bit, to just kind of no questions asked. You come, you stay as long as you need, and you leave when you want to. The little girl, as you guys climb out of the car, looks up to the sounds. She does that thing where she starts at about your knees and goes, all the way up, and when she's getting to about your upper chest, she starts to kind of like fall backwards because, way tiny. And
Can I
then
try and catch her, or is she gonna fall?
no, she does that little like half stumble backwards. She's, far enough away from the car because, you don't play in the street. The street's off limits. Um, but then, your small friend kind of gets out and looks around and sees her and, waves energetically at her, and she kind of like waves back and then kind of trots over towards you, um, swinging her pink busta move by its arm very kind of haphazardly as children's do, and, comes to a stop in front of you. Again, looking straight back and up because you are enormous when compared to a 7-year-old child. Um,
Banjo's gonna kind of crouch down a little bit and kind of push the other boy forward a little bit.
he resists a little bit. You can feel him like hugging onto your leg.
Okay, well then Banjo will pick him back up on his shoulders, will nod at the little girl, kind of mock seriousness, and he will ask her if she knows where Father Mercy is.
Sure. Do me a quick task before we get into that and roll me a visual perception.
Do I see a car I've seen before on my driveway?
You do not. You do, however, notice something that you are very familiar with, and that is the feeling of everybody looking at you. Just kind of like, that's a big cow man. They are also kind of looking at the small child you have with you, and doing that like hushed whisper thing, which I imagine in 60 years is very weird when people have like trodes and direct neural interfaces and that kind of thing going on. So like leaning into whisper is kind of weird, and so 100 years ago. The little girl, pipes up, is like very energetically, "Oh, I could take you right to him," and then begins like walking off with a purpose, as small children only can. And then she, a couple of minutes, a couple of steps later, she turns around and is like, "We thought he left. We didn't know where he went."
The child?
Yep.
Okay.
And then she, picks up her bears like, "Isn't that right?" And then, begins to continue to lead you onwards. Do you have anything you want to do in this area, or?
No, Banjo's just going to go look for Father Mercy.
Okay. So as you're, crossing this courtyard, you do give me an audio perception test. So you were able to hear the very distinct sound of gunshots coming from like the backside of the complex. With 3 hits, you're able to tell that they're probably pistols, and that they are in somewhat of a rhythmic fashion as to how they are being fired off.
Okay, I am going to set up my, what is it called? Select sound filter to see if the rhythm of the gunshots changes or gets closer or anything like that.
Sure. A couple of seconds, maybe a minute goes by as you're, weaving in and out. The small child seems to stop and talk to other groups of kids, mostly about how big you are and how you found the boy. Never mentions a name for him. Just kind of, "Oh, we thought he was gone," and then like kind of picks up her bear and waves at the people. Is like, "Isn't that right?" And the bear doesn't respond.
What happened to the other bear?
I don't know. Maybe it's around somewhere.
Of course it is.
Maybe it is. They, a lot of the middle-aged kids, like, teenagers, kind of roll their eyes, and it's like, "Yep, that's right. The bear talks to you. It's totally alive. We know." She's like, well, not this one isn't. You know, storms
Mm-hmm.
off in a huff towards, the next group of people. So it takes you a little while. The shots are still in their rhythmic fashion. Sounds like, 5 or 6 guns. Um, you know, 5 shots, small pause, 5 more shots, that kind of thing. But eventually you are led inside. It looks kind of like um, it looks kind of like a college dormitory almost. That might have been what this place was. There's, deep hallways with small dorm type rooms that are there. Um, she leads you upwards and onwards, and eventually you come to what is like a common area, but there's nobody in it. It's more seems to be pushed and set up like almost like a waiting room for a hospital or office. And she, turns, holds her finger up, is like, all right, now wait right here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she goes inside for a minute. Is there anything you want to do while you're out here in the hallways of this place?
I will see if the little boy is doing anything. I was just gonna wait in silence. And,
He seems to be affectionately stroking his bear.
oh,
Yeah, it's enough to melt the heart.
it really is.
Yeah. So, you know, a moment or so goes by, and the door opens, and the small elephant girl is like, "Ta-da!" And in front of you is an older human man. He is not actually wearing anything that resembles a real. It seems to be just like a well loved secondhand suit. He is probably in his 50s or 60s, and he steps out into the hallway and does that thing that you are so used to seeing, where people are like, "That's a chest." Okay, let me just look up to here, and he looks up to you and in a slightly confused method, like looks at the small boy, which I believe is still riding on your shoulder, or did you?
Maybe. I will probably take him off now and put him down.
Yeah. Um. So he kind of watches as you put the boy down, and is like, "We thought that he ran away." And then he will introduce himself as Father Mercy and reach out to shake your gigantic bull hand.
Banjo will shake his hand very gently, making sure not to
Crush and eat
harm.
him.
Right, I think really bad things would happen to me.
There's a good chance of that. Um, where did you find him?
Um, Following me around, I found him many places.
That's curious. How did you know to bring him back here?
I have heard. I did not know to bring him back here. I did not know he was from here. I thought this was a safe place for him. I did not know this was already his home.
Oh, that I was hoping that you would have said that he told you.
No, he does not talk.
He has not since he arrived here. Um, it seems as though, and he gives you the look up and down. I imagine you look kind of like a Shadowrunner.
Hmm.
He's like, it seems the work we do here is not known only to the people of your vocation. That when a child does get lost in the legal shuffle, there's the occasions upon which they are found dumped here by even the normal society. Um, he showed up soon after the mess uh, at the mall, which, if you are who I think you are, you know a great deal more than I do about.
Banjo will nod his head.
you know, he nods in that way that says, I don't need to know. And he says, well, walk with me, talk with me. He will proceed to lead you a bit around the facility, showing more or less just making idle chit chat, unless you wish to have something you want to talk to him about.
Well, Banjo will also slow his walk to make sure that the good father doesn't have to, you know, scurry to keep up.
Right. Especially when he's leading you, that would be super awkward.
It would be.
Is there anything you want to ask or talk to him about?
I do want to ask why the child was following me, he thinks, or how he found me.
That is a bit of a mystery. That, unfortunately, we've had him looked over by our medical staff here. Granted, as you can see, and he'll do the sweeping arm motion thing, we're not exactly the best equipped. However, can't seem to find anything physically wrong with him. It seems to be a much more mental or emotional blockage. That seems to be why he does not speak.
All right, I need to go look up a different contact and see how much she costs now. I'm spending all my money on that I thought I was going to have for rent on this.
He takes you out into the back area. Is there anything you want, anything else you want to ask with him about as you're wandering about and he's making polite small talk?
I just want to know if there's anything I can do to help the child. I was going to ask if I could buy the good doc to see if that would help the child.
I wonder if he would actually know about Dr. Phyllis.
She's been in contact for a while, I assume.
Yeah, she's been in contact for a while, and she is he is connected in the shadows enough to know other people, I feel like. Right. But we will save your expenditures for now until we're done to see what you want to do. Okay. So going out back, you will see a couple in the later teens. Actually, roll me a visual perception real quick. Perfect. So you will see that there is a couple in the later teens, people out at a makeshift firing range. And give me an audio perception test.
I'm gonna take a quick phone call.
Okay. So while he's on the phone, how are you guys doing in the chat? Have I made you sad? I hope I didn't make you sad. Do you have Shadowrun or RunnerHub related questions? Because after we're done here, I would love to answer them. As I wait for the delay. I don't know how well Ents would actually sleep. They're physiologically might be different. Don't even really know how they reproduce. I imagine it would be closer to the plant life of pollen and bees and stamen and seeds. So I'm going to go with no.
I'm back.
That's good. Then we had one weird question that I don't know if you heard my explanation for.
I heard the end of it, something about seeds.
Yeah, no, somebody has to do Ents get morning wood.
I don't think so.
So, with your hits on the perception test, or the audio, you will actually hear. God, super. Um, you actually hear a voice carried on the wind that sounds very familiar, and it says, all right, guys, that is pretty good for today.
Oh dear Lord.
So I will see you all tomorrow. What the?
It's Tapper. I'm gonna go find the voice.
Can you go find her?
I'm assuming Father Mercy will help me find her.
Well, given as this is a makeshift shooting range, and you know how much Tapper loves her pistols, um, you will very easily be able to, watch the group of older kids walking away and follow them in reverse to where where you find Tapper.
I'm assuming she's going to say something to me, because as knowing she's the one who talks first most of the time.
She talks a lot of the time, but she will be actually have her back to you. Seems to be cleaning up a couple of guns that were being used for something that looks like practice.
Banjo is going to clear his throat.
She will do that comedic whip around like, "Oi, what are you doing here?"
Banjo is going to kind of nod his head towards the small child on his back.
And she'll, once people get over the shock of that's a giant cow man, they kind of take in the rest of the scene around. He's like, "You found church?"
Banjo's going to nod his head, or Virgil's going to nod his head.
Oh, I guess that's good and right. Oh, he was missing for a little while.
Banjo will nod his head again.
She'll look over to Father Mercy, kind of confused, because it's like, he's not saying anything.
Banjo or the child?
You,
Yeah,
Mr. Banjo.
Banjo's not talking a lot anymore. It's almost as if he's, contemplative now.
So she's gonna be like, right, all right, well, we're all cleaned up here, Father. I'll just be jogging on then. Just give you that like wide berth as you, uh, well, you have to give Banjo a wide berth because he is a large man, and she will go on about her business if you have nothing else to say to her.
I'm trying to think of something. Banjo probably wants to ask her something. Banjo's going to ask her if she knows anything about. She named him Church.
That is what she called him.
Banjo wants to know if she knows anything more about Church.
No, he seemed to be dropped off by one of like the official wagons. Bobby's probably didn't want to do the paperwork.
You know why he was following me?
He carries around that doll. Maybe he likes you.
How did he find me? Did you help track me, Tapper?
She does that like Scouts honor thing. Had nothing to do with it, mate.
And you have no idea how he found me?
She just kind of shrugs. No, look. It's just
Okay.
a bit of a weird situation, I guess. These things happen. He begins pulling on one of your horns.
Is he kind of direct me somewhere?
Um, yeah, you know what? He is trying to direct you somewhere.
I'm going to let him direct me.
And he will, pull you. You eventually end up going back into the complex. Tapper's like, I'll see it. And she does like a half wave thing. And, he drags you back inside. Father Mercy begins to follow, but doesn't say anything on your walk as he cat, go away. Doing deeply emotional shit here. Um, as he leads you back through, and eventually you come to a small, um, one of the dorm rooms. It seems to be broken up to fit, two or three smaller people, probably, children of his size and stature. Um, and he begins kind of tugging on your ear as if to put him down.
Yeah, Banjo's gonna put him down.
Okay, and then he will scamper off to one of the bedrolls that does not look like it has been slept in a couple of days, and begins rooting around in the roll itself. Father
Banjo's gonna
Mercy is standing at
over.
the doorway behind you. Nothing. Just
Banjo's gonna follow him over to the bed.
okay. So he pulls out a couple of pieces of um, essentially electronic paper.
Mm-hmm.
They are stills from what the news captured on your daring mall-based escapades.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you notice that the headlines are like, hero saves lives at mall, et cetera, et cetera. The word hero seems to be like lines and as though you would color in things, but like, with the Bam Powell, like there are
Right.
stars and lines coming off of it.
Comic book text.
Kind of like that. It is easy to tell that this is not how the newspapers, for the lack of a better word, were originally written. That it seems as though this child has circled and starred and underlined and kind of drew all over the rest of it except for the word hero. He kind of picks it up, like finds one that has like a big picture of your face kind of on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, turns to you and kind of pushes it towards you.
Banjo will take it in his hands and look at it. And look over the child and see what he wants to tell me or show me.
He will energetically, like, kind of come around the side. I imagine you are crouched down to almost his level, holding this piece of electronic paper in your hand. And he will, point at the picture and then point at the word hero and then kind of like tap you in the chest.
Oh God, Rob.
I'm going to leave you with that for a minute while I go potty.
All right.
Let you roll that real life composure test.
Yep.
So this is actually a fade to black moment if you want it, or we can do a little bit more. And you're either muted or
I'm back.
okay.
I just thought of something that might make you cry a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Banjo is going to start, or is going to DNI Stevie and ask him how would he feel about doing a charity field trip for a group of orphans to the zoo.
Um,
Once the zoo has, been refurbished.
Fixed.
That'd be a great publicity stunt for Stevie. And Stevie is actually a decent guy.
Yeah, Stevie is actually a decent guy. Give me just a connection test real quick.
Just connection to the normal.
Yeah, the normal connection test thing.
Booyah.
So he would be happy to when the time is right and things are repaired, and he kind of says that with a tone that's like he kind of knows that it's our fault a little bit. That he would be willing to have a special thing for some underprivileged people. Maybe sneak them in when the construction is almost finished, but like,
Oh, because these kids don't have sins, do they?
most of them, Tapper does, but they're not real sins.
Right.
So some of them might, some of them might not. Like
They couldn't go in on a normal day, actually.
so like some of them probably have sins, but are just so far out of the system that you know, like you could spend 6 months on the waiting list to get processed and to be able to get government assistance.
Yeah.
So they would obviously not survive that time to that. And maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them hang out here during that waiting time until they can get processed properly, and then they leave here and go on to their new and hopefully better lives. Some of them, maybe like Richie, who is the older orc gentleman that drives the van. He's like a 38, 39-year-old orc. Nobody's going to be hiring him.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, Banjo will sit and look at the picture and just kind of nod to the child. Banjo doesn't know what to do. Banjo is very confused.
Father Mercy will kind of see you guys sitting here with this piece of paper, and will slowly like extricate himself from the room. If you're willing to sit there, the child will pull out another piece of electronic paper that has your picture on it, while you're sitting there holding the one, and he will, hold up the paper in one hand and hold up his bear and kind of like wiggle it back and forth, like as if you were an idiot and didn't understand that that's what the bear was supposed to be.
Yep. Banjo will nod and smile.
He will then like look at you as if to like make sure that you are looking at him, and then he will hug the bear tightly and look up at you as though like, this cool, bro.
Banjo will give him a hug.
Aww. So he will like grip your head fur pretty tightly as you hug him. And can you roll me audio perception?
Yep.
So with 2 hits,
Oh no. Oh no.
you're pretty sure you hear him whisper the word hero.
Banjo will grip him a little bit tighter.
And pretty sure we can fade out there now that we have, kicked you square in the feels.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So I will give you the option. You are more than welcome to pick up Father Mercy as part of this little solo run excursion with the little mini contact of church. Who, I will allow you to describe him in that and what his Um,
It sounds like he's going to have knowledge shadow community.
he might. He could also have the active skill of restoring hope to cowmen.
I'm not going to go the Omni and Creed route, Rob.
No, I'm just saying that, Banjo is quiet and contemplative and, maybe has found something that, makes his world a little brighter.
I'm going to have to still go with shadow community or like maybe the tracking.
Maybe. That's fine.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you said you're going to give me the option? Is there...
I was thinking Father Mercy, or if you wanted to pick up, if with Father Mercy, you could obviously stay there for a little while under a much lower rent as you, I imagine, bond and hang out with Church for a bit. Maybe, maybe coerce him back into to talking. Maybe,
So,
or
okay, go ahead.
or if you want to pick up Phyllis and kind of distance yourself from the potential relationship and continue to pay your significantly higher lifestyle for that time that you need for your space.
No, Banjo's definitely going to help out the child. I wanted if I could pick up Phyllis.
Yeah, if you want to pick up Phyllis with cost, sure.
Yeah.
But you can get one or the other for free.
No, I was definitely going to do Father Mercy and Church. I was going to see if I picked Dr. Phyllis, that would help Church at all.
Oh, it can totally help, but I wasn't sure how you wanted to deal with it. I felt like the Father Mercy angle was a good way to get Banjo his space for what he needed.
Yep, I'm going to go with that.
Before, like, I didn't know if this was going to be streamed. I had been fully prepared to do everything related to Church through emotes in that second Skype, second Roll20 account that I have. I feel like I'm sad that I didn't, because that would have probably been more impactful.
I'm kind of glad you didn't. Gave it a little bit more, almost meaning, like the lack of words from him.
Well, no, like, he wouldn't have spoken in there. It would have been all like when it would have been like something along these lines of like
tugs on horn. Yeah, that would have been good.
But I didn't want to do that for the stream and the potential of this being uploaded and me just shipping it up as an AAR later. Did you have fun?
I had lots of fun. I would definitely take the Father Mercy with Church.
Because he's quiet as a church mouse.
I get it. That was good.
Yeah.
Church pastor. What is Father Mercy going as?
I think he's like a 3-1 or a 3-2. So those of you out in the chat, questions, comments, concerns?
The reason I was asking Rob is because Father Mercy depends on like how much you give to him.
Oh, so his connection and stuff went up based upon the donations that he received. His loyalty is whether or not you pick up a mini contact, and you definitely have a small mini contact.
Okay. So 3-2.
Yeah. The boy may live happily ever after.
It's kind of dependent upon Banjo living happily ever after too.
It is slightly dependent upon Banjo living happily ever after. There may be, things to deal with later on as the child comes to realize that Banjo was actually unable to save his mom and dad that were at the mall that day. But
why Banjo feels so responsible and bought him $1,000 teddy bear.
Yeah, that looks like you. So this way you will always be there.
No, the boys in the flesh form roach spirit. This is not Raid. This is not my other character.
I didn't want to do something like happy and fun for Banjo, because Banjo is not in a happy and fun mood right now. definitely in a deeper, more contemplative situation, which I hope this accentuates. Question mark.
Well, this definitely gives Banjo a lot to think about and is good because Banjo's going to actually hopefully take a new name soon. So this is very kind of good. Rebrand himself and be reborn into a new name.
Yeah. And
PA
I
wasn't
wonder
so.
what name he is going to choose now.
Definitely think I'm gonna go Virgil as the guide. Because he will guide Church into a better life
Oh,
and guide the bad guys into hell.
I hope you
So
appreciated the cameos.
I did. I was surprised Omni wasn't actually there, or I didn't see him.
Um, so had you gone and looking for Creed, you probably would have found him, and then resulted in that. Um, I felt like the Outback section was more of a Father Mercy is taking you on a tour of the area, and that was like the only place that you had not really seen.
Right.
Um, not to attempt to shoehorn my own characters into other people's situations.
It's okay. I almost did that with Citizen. Like almost unintentionally. I didn't think about it until it happened. I was like, wait, no, I can't do that to my own character. That would be really bad. It would make no sense.
Um, but it does give Banjo the opportunity to talk to somebody else who stays there. I'm pretty sure she's the only actual runner that lives there.
I think she is.
Um, she is super excited, by the way, to find out that you can actually have a driver's license in the UCAS at 16.
Did you not know that?
So
Oh, she's
I
from
I was not sure. I'm pretty sure in the Britain, England of the 2070s,
it would probably be
it's
18.
still like 18. So she had just come here under the assumption that it was the same and never really looked into it because why not?
Right.
And then a proper Mike on their run together mentioned this, like, the driving age is 16 here, right? She's like, what? Like, hold on. Run's got to go on hold. I need to go shopping for a car.
Is that really what happened?
Well, the run didn't get put on hold, but like they were doing legwork and stuff, and it was all in emotes. That's like, and she is very clearly browsing through AR,
That's amazing.
talking
That's
about
funny.
cars. Um, thank you,
Yeah,
Alex, for the what you call it?
it's
the
great.
streaming of this, so that some random other people could hopefully invoke their feels a little bit. If you guys have any questions about the hub or Shadowrun that are still here and not from the hub or Shadowrun, there's some weird names in the chat that I don't quite know, so it's possible.
And then, well, what is the game mechanic of the different lifestyle? What am I doing for that?
Well, if you actually hang out at Father Mercy's, it's just like a low lifestyle because that's what a tapper pays.
Got it. I will do that.
Oh.
And I'm going to get rid of my middle lifestyle for right now. I just paid my low lifestyle for
Did you
July.
already pay your lifestyle for this month?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I wouldn't worry about paying the Father Mercy lifestyle for this month then.
No, I already did. Oh well.
So,
I'll just delete that.
yeah.
Do. Open it up. Okay. Being a troll's expensive.
It is, but you can probably have your ducks hide out and hang here.
I was going to do that. Do you know how much it cost me a month to live in a medium lifestyle?
Uh, probably like 12,000 millions.
No, it's yeah, something like that. Because it's 210% with dependent.
Yeah.
It was good. All right. So, are you going to write up church, or do you want me to?
You can. And I would very much like to see a non-letter to home AAR just because um curious as to what Banjo thinks about this situation over over the next couple of days of him kind of hanging out there.
Oh, I was actually probably going to still do as a letter at home, but I'll probably do some out of character observations on Banjo.
That would be cool,
This
just
is going
because
to be
he's
Banjo explaining that he's not living with
Kazooie.
Zooey.
Yeah,
I gotta look at
it is an interesting growth period for Banjo, and I'd be curious to see where it goes.
it. Yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this.
Yeah.
It was good. This is definitely. I wish PA wasn't so expensive to buy off.
Well, you're going away on vacation for a while, so hanging out here is a good way to lower that.
It doesn't go away.
Over time, it can totally go down if you're not
Really?
active. If you're not Vlad went in the tank for like a month, getting augments when Bob was super into GMing, and
Mm-hmm.
when he came out, he was like, "Yo, I haven't done anything in a month. Can I drop some PA?" And they were like, "Yeah."
Oh, thank God, because that was gonna be part of my um,
You're rebranding.
branding was the dropping of PA and coming out with a new name, which made a little bit more sense for Banjo.
Yeah. Um,
And Seraph is doing a great job as Tyler helping out Banjo with that because for some reason Banjo and Faces get along really well. It's really strange.
it's because they make, big words.
Banjo's got 3 logic now. He's not dumb. He's
This is
smarter
true.
than Faces. But
He's
like,
uh he's
I,
numerically smarter than Tapper.
yeah.
What with her
And Banjo
logic?
actually has college now. He actually is learning stuff in college.
Yeah. They don't teach you about guns in college, so Tapper's not interested.
Nope. I do love that I took famous minotaurs as a knowledge skill when I decided to get disguises. I'm like, I should learn what other minotaurs look like. So famous minotaurs it is. All right.
Yep.
I think that's it for me.
Thank you again, Alex, for sharing the misery amongst the general populace. If you could send me a file or something along those lines of the actual stream, I would totally love to upload it somewhere and allow people to suffer along with us. And see you.
Bye.